Yeah, how you doing, bud?
Do you spit on it?
Say what?
Okay, guys.
Hey!
Oh.
So, tonight, we are continuing through Luke, the book of Luke. Jonah is going to be teaching for us tonight through Luke 10. I gave him the option of any chapter in Luke up to Luke 13, and this is the one he chose, and he might tell us why. Before I invite him up, does anybody need a Bible? Because we do not have slides today, so does anybody need a Bible to be able to keep along with us? Nope? Okay, perfect. So, welcome up Jonah, who's going to teach for us.
Woo!
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Apologies in advance. I played freestyle. A lot of breath. Okay. I'm gonna pray and then we'll get started. Okay. All right. So close your eyes, bow your heads. Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful time that we get to have and hang out at youth group, Lord. Pray that you can help me catch my breath a little bit. Lord, I pray that as I give this message, Lord, that everybody can get something out of it, Lord. And I pray for smooth sailings and just a great rest of our night. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. I'm going to take some water now. Okay. So, we all know that we all know that it's a good thing to have a quiet time or a time that we can connect with Jesus. Guys, I'm serious. I
If you want to take a minute, Jonah, you can take a minute.
Okay. I want to take some more water.
Deep breaths in. Slows your heart rate down.
Okay.
Box breathing.
And make sure it's 3 seconds out or it doesn't count. Ready? In.
4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds rest.
3. Again. Out. 1, 2, 3. Again.
Jonah box breathing.
Really, like.
I think I'm good.
No, you're not.
Well,
Okay.
see how supportive we are here? Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, so we've all heard that having a quiet time or having a time that we connect with Jesus and connect with God is a good thing. But I wouldn't be surprised if anybody here has probably had one of those times but skipped it for some reason. And so a few questions. Who here has skipped their quiet time or the time that they connect with God because they had chores to do or they were at work or something like that? Wow. Okay. Yeah. Me too. Who here has skipped out on their quiet time because they had school stuff or they had a project due tomorrow or homework? Wow, a lot less than I was expecting, actually. I definitely have. Okay, and then the one that hits me pretty hard. Who here has skipped a quiet time because they were just so tired that they could barely keep their eyes open and it's like, whew, tired. So you went to bed. Okay, yeah, me too, and that's probably the one I get a lot. So for me, preparing this message, I skipped out on my quiet time pretty often because what would happen is I'd go to school, go to this class and then, have that one teacher at the end of the day that makes me super tired because they're super boring, give you a lot of work. Then you're done with school, I'm like, ooh, okay, done with that. Then I go to work, and I was like, okay, now I'm exhausted from work, and I'm on my way home, I get home, I work on homework, and then, well, work on homework for a while, and that makes me even more tired. And then I'm like, well, I gotta work on this message because it's coming up. And so I work on that, and then by the time I'm done with all the stuff throughout my day, I'm just so mentally and physically tired, more than I am right now. But I get just so tired that I just go brush my teeth, and then I go to bed, and I skip out on my quiet time. And so, with all the things that I just listed, like I just asked about, school, chores or work, sleeping, me preparing for this message, all these things are good things, right? They're things that we need to do or need to have. But what's hard about that is sometimes good things can distract us from the better thing, okay? Good things can distract us from the better thing. And so, as you know, like Jake said, we're going through Luke, and I'm doing Luke 10. And so, as I'm kind of reading Luke 10 and being familiar with the chapter, I am reading through it in the first little bits about the, like Jesus sending 72 people out. Then the next thing is about the Good Samaritan. And at the beginning I was like, oh, cool, the Good Samaritan. Like, I've heard that before. Maybe it'll be easier. But then I kept reading, and I read this story about Mary and Martha. And it's a super cool story, but as I'm like preparing for this, Jake told me that I needed to pick one, but I needed to prepare to give like all three of them just in case, which was a lot of work and fun. But I ended up doing the story about Mary and Martha because I feel like, who here has heard the Mary and Martha story? Oh my gosh, a lot of people. Wow, I didn't think that. Okay, anyway, I feel like everybody's heard the Good Samaritan, but not a lot of people have heard a lesson about Mary and Martha. And so, that's why I picked. And so, I'm going to read the verse, and then I'll break it down a little bit. I'm in NIV, by the way. So if you guys can open up to Luke 10, verse 38.
That's you.
Or listen to me if you don't have a Bible or the Bible app. Everybody ready? Enough? Okay. So it says, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to what he said. Okay. So this is about Mary and Martha and Jesus and his disciples. And so Jesus and his disciples are on their way to Jerusalem. And so they stop at this certain village named Bethany where Mary and Martha lived. And Jesus knows Mary and Martha because he's been to Bethany a few times, because when he'd go from town to town preaching, he's stayed at Bethany, and most of those times he's probably stayed with Mary and Martha. And and so Jesus has a pretty good relationship with Martha and Mary. So Mary and Martha, these people live in Bethany. Their brother is Lazarus. And so Jesus is coming into town, and Martha is like, oh, I know Jesus. I'm going to invite him over, have some dinner, maybe stay a few nights. Just like if you had some cousins or your grandma and grandpa are coming into town, you'll invite them over for dinner to spend time with them. And so, so here's Martha, and here's Mary, and it talks about how Mary is sitting at the Lord's feet, listening to Jesus' teaching. And so, what's happening is Mary's over here listening to Jesus, hanging out with Jesus and the disciples, and then Martha is in the other room, preparing a meal and getting all the preparations ready. And so Mary, so the significance and what I think is super cool is it says that she was sitting at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. And so this kind of thing saying sitting at someone's feet is another way of saying being taught or learning or being a disciple under somebody. And this is cool because Mary, if you probably haven't guessed already, is a woman. And so for first century, having Mary not helping preparing things and her just like hanging out and listening to Jesus was pretty far out there, you know. And so it's pretty cool because it's showing that Mary was like equal to people like Peter and John and James. But so Mary's hanging out with them, and Martha's cooking. And so Martha is in the kitchen, you know, cooking up food with her thingy.
Pan?
What? Yeah, pans. Yeah, you know, I don't know what they had back then, so I don't want to be like, okay. So she's cooking, but then as she's cooking, she looks over and she sees that Mary's just sitting there doing nothing but talking. And, you know, Martha's like, whoa there. This is not fair. It says, next, it says, but Martha was distracted by much preparations that had to be made. She came to him, asked, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. Okay. Sorry, I've read like so many translations of these that they are starting to mix together. So Martha's over here cooking. She looks over. She sees that Mary's doing nothing but hanging out. And so Martha's like, this isn't fair. This, like, how is this happening? And so she stops everything she's doing. She stomps over on to Jesus, and I can only imagine the voice she had is that angry mom voice. You know what I'm talking about? So like when you don't do the dishes or you don't clean your room and your mom finds out and she's like super upset. She's like, hey, do this. You know, and I like mom voice. I can't do it very well because I'm not a mom, you know. But she walks up to Jesus and she's like, hey, Mary's over here just hanging out. What's going on? Like, I'm doing this huge meal. Like, this is not any ordinary meal. Jesus, this is special for you, man. Like, I need some help. And Mary's doing nothing except, you know, hanging out. And so, sorry. I'm going to take some more water. Man, I still am.
We need somebody to narrate this.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, married. Okay. So, Jesus, being Jesus, answers in the most Jesus way possible. Okay. He goes, Martha, you're worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed. Indeed, only one. Mary has chosen the better thing, and it will not be taken away from her. And so, Jesus is like saying Martha, Martha's twice is like saying like, hey, you know. So he's like, hey, Martha, I get it. I know. There's a lot of stuff to do, but you're stressing out about everything, you know. Like, you don't need to be. It's okay. Like Mary's doing a good thing right now. She's doing the better thing, in fact. Like, you're doing some good stuff, but Mary is doing the better thing. And I'm not gonna tell her to leave because, like I said, doing the better thing. Why would I stop her? And so, what this is kind of saying is, so Martha, it gets you. So Martha is super upset because she's doing all this serving and like preparing this thing for Jesus all by herself. And so what she's doing is a really good thing. She's, serving Jesus, and, being a good host. So, like, what she's doing is great. But Mary is doing the better thing. She's being with Jesus, and she's having a connection and a relationship with Jesus. And so, and so what this is kind of showing is like God is more worried about having a relationship with us than us serving him. It's serving him's great, but having a relationship with him is better. And to kind of relate that back to the questions I started with things that we kind of skip our quiet time with, or time that we kind of connect with God and have time with him. Things like sleeping, schoolwork, work, and chores, even preparing, like me preparing for this, like all those things are great things. Just like Martha, she was doing a good thing by serving Jesus. But a key part of that is it says that Martha was distracted with much preparations that had to be made. And so what's hard is when we're doing these things like schoolwork and work and trying to sleep and stuff like that, we get distracted from the better thing, which is having a quiet time or connecting with Jesus. By the way, quiet time isn't the only way to connect with Jesus. It's just one of the ways that we can connect with Jesus, so we're using that as kind of an example. But just like Martha, we can get distracted away from Jesus. And so my question is, how can we not let that happen? How can we not let these good, like although good things distract us from Jesus and our relationship with Jesus, and without getting rid of those good things, because we still need to do those things. So for me, the thing I need to do, like I said, I go to school, I go to work, I do stuff at home, and I'd just be super tired, and I wouldn't have my quiet time, because my quiet time I do at night. So something I need to do is do my quiet time before I even get to that point. Before I like as soon as I get home from work, before I'm too tired, maybe I have this time, a few minutes, connect with Jesus, and then I can go on. Instead of getting to the point where I'm so tired that I barely have enough time to brush my teeth before passing out. And so, and again, it's super hard because it's easy to think like, what are bad things that get in our way of having a relationship with Jesus? What's hard about these is all these things are good and natural, but we somehow need to find a line to do those good things, but also make sure we don't get distracted by those good things to have a relationship with Jesus. And so even those good things can distract us from the better thing. Sorry. And so I'm asking you guys, as we go on down to small groups and go out through our weeks, like what's one thing that is, one good thing that's distracting you from connecting with Jesus, and how can you fix it without getting rid of the good thing? Yeah. So, like I said, even good things can distract us from the better thing. All right, and that's it. So I'm gonna pray, and then we'll head down to small groups and talk more about this. Do you want me to?
You go for it.
All right, okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful time and this opportunity that I get to give this lesson, Lord. I'm asking that I did pretty well. Lord, I pray that as we go down to small groups, we can have in-depth conversations and really expand on this, Lord. And I pray that as we go on with our week, that we can think of that one thing that might be distracting us from you, Lord. Because even those good things can distract us from the better thing, which is you, Lord. And I pray for a great rest of our night. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. You guys, so tonight, Janelle and Deanna are both sick, so we're doing small groups a little bit different. If you are a high schooler, guy or girl, you will be going with Ben. If you are a middle schooler, guy or girl, you will be staying up here.
No segregation.
Bob! High schoolers to me. All high schoolers are in the big education building in the education wing.
Wait,
Yeah, with a high school guy.
Yes, I love your class.
Hey, just so you know, I want to talk after.
Yes. What? No clue. Okay. Gotcha. I will, if I see it, I will give it to you and I will check around for it.
I'm gonna go more crazy than my brother.
Oh, it's Egyptian rat. Gotcha. I'm sure that's not sweet. Yeah, okay. We'll take a look for it around here, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna sit ice cream.
Okay, guys, grab a chair, grab a seat.
They're my favorite people.
Okay, Sam, come grab a chair.
They're my favorite people.
Go ahead and just.
Jakey's belong.
Nope.
Wait, you're two leaders. You can split into two groups. Yeah,
Good.
you're in middle school. You're in middle
What
school.
would you rather do? Would you rather stay together or split up?
Well, you have one, two.
Oh, no, I'll take, we can, yeah, I'll take what, who's in 8th grade? Raise your hand. Okay, who's in, okay. Jade, what grade are you in? You're in 7th.
8th grade and boys.
You're in 7th.
8th grade and boys.
What grade are you in? 6th.
Yeah.
8th grade and boys. 8th and 7th grade.
Okay, I will take 8th and 7th. How many say? Raise your hand if you're a 6th grader. My goodness, this is a terrible thought. Okay, I'll take 8th grade, and I'll take Jade, and I'll take Mallory.
Yay!
And you guys can come with me.
Do I have a piece of paper?
Yes, you do.
I mean, I can make stuff up if you want.
That works. Okay, guys, we're gonna go downstairs to the counseling room. You don't need a chair, Sam.
You told me to grab a chair.
Well, now you're done with that. You no longer need it.
You told me to grab a chair, man.
Sam said he was a 6th.
I am 6th grade. Our 6th grade staying up here.
Yeah.
Our 6th grade is going upstairs.
Is this?
Sam, just run backwards. Just